CTV Sports presentation of the 1993 Matinee Limited International is brought to you by Bank of Montreal. We're determined to see ourselves through the eyes of our customers. We're paying attention. Brought to you by Canadian Tire. And by Seagram Coolers. Taste true wild.
The warm-up continues at center court. Steffi Graf, currently #1 in the world, 5 times a Wimbledon champion, the 1990 champion of this tournament, 24-year-old with $12 million in career earnings. That says it all, Virginia.
Well, yeah, and when she only loses as few matches as she does in a year, you're not surprised. She started off indifferently at the beginning of this tournament, almost lost a set to Rosnidefer, but then came back against Naoka Sawamatsu. A good challenge by Natalie Tozier in the 3rd round, and then Mileva Franje she demolished.
At the other side, the teenager from the United States. So much promise, so much potential, and it is being fulfilled. Jennifer Capriati. Dawn?
Well, she's had a very, very good week here, Rod. Playing extremely well, hasn't lost a set in the tournament thus far. And in her road to the final, she had a bye, of course, in the 1st round, defeated Shanda Rubin of the United States 6-2 and 6-1, and then a very tough player who she lost to earlier in the year, Amanda Kutzer of South Africa, 6-love, 6-2. She led 10-love before Kutzer got a game. And then an unfortunate situation, Julie Hallard, who had beaten Gabriela Sabatini, had to retire with a bad back, and she won that match by default. And then a tremendous performance yesterday over Sanchez Vicario, winning the 1st set 7-6, the best set of tennis in the whole week, 7-6 and 6-2 to advance to today's final.
The weather, just perfect. 23 degrees Celsius, mostly sunny. We can tell you that Jennifer Capriati has won the toss. She has chosen to return, and Virginia, that's what she did yesterday against Arantxa Sanchez Vicario.
Yeah, and it paid off for her. Jane Table, who comes from Somerset in England and is all around the world in these tournaments, umpiring in the chair. So Steffi having to start off serving into the sun.
2 players who waste very little time.
And a great round of applause for the 2 former Matinee Limited International champions.
Both players got a huge hand as they walked into the court. I mean, the crowd is filled with excitement at the prospect of this encounter. The wind coming a little bit from the other end, from behind Jennifer, and that's different from the last couple of days.
15-30.
You know, I'm a little surprised that Capriati elected to let Graf serve first. I can understand why she did it yesterday, because Sanchez Vicario doesn't have that great a serve, but Graf has a very good serve.
Thinking about that, it sometimes makes the first person a little bit nervous if they suddenly realize that the other person is elected to return. Just puts a little question mark in their mind.
Virginia, as a former Wimbledon champion, I'll bet you never, if you won the toss to serve, never let your opponent serve first.
No, I always wanted to serve first. it wasn't a dispute about a line call, but obviously she was thrown off by something. She's nervous, isn't she?
She's concerned about the cameraman, asking him to not be quiet, but to shut up.
Or something definitely put her off in the middle of that rally, but it does also show us that she's somewhat tense.
And very high strung.
Advantage Graf.
Well, that's one way to shut everybody up.
Juice.
Virginia, I think that's the very play that could help Capriati come up with a winning performance today if she could keep that up and keep the ball very deep in that one corner against Graf's backhand.
Yeah.
Advantage Capriati.
But she also played quite a few balls up the middle of the court, which also isn't a bad idea against Steffi, because Steffi just loves to run.
Takes the angle away from Steffi, right?
Then when she had a chance, went for the big one.
Magnificent approach backhand slice.
Juice.
Right on the line.
This was not an easy shot because she's having to move as she hits it. She really gets under, it finds the inside of both lines in the corner.
Advantage Graf.
That rally also told us a lot. The slice backhand, Jennifer does not mind hitting against. Topspin over there, she has a bit more of a problem.
Game Graf.
And Steffi Graf strikes first at the Matinee Limited International.
First game.
It's hard to find a family untouched by Canadian Tire. By a first...
$15.
Jennifer Capriati with their first service game of this match. Steffi Graf leading 1-love.
$30.
Perfect ace by Capriati. And certainly not easy to do when you're on the sunny side of the court. Bright sunlight today at the York University Tennis Center.
$40.
Graf a little wide with the inside-out forehand. And Capriati off to a quick 40-love lead in the second game.
Out. 40-15.
Interesting call from Jen Table. It was such a fast ball, very close to the line. It's probably a good idea to overrule early in a match.
Game Capriati.
Jennifer Capriati does what Steffi Graf did. Holds serve. 1-1.
One game lead.
The 6th seed Capriati and the top seed Steffi Graf.
Well, there's not much defense for a forehand like that.
Clean winner from the baseline.
Even though she hits the ball just a shade late, she does it to perfection.
Second serve.
Huge kick on that second serve from Graf. Jennifer has such a good return of serve. It's hard actually to know what to do. That was a good idea from Steffi too.
Yes, and no two-handed player wants to be hitting their backhand up over their shoulder and around their head. 30 love.
She will kill you with that.
Quite a sequence of shots there. Very confidently hit topspin backhand, followed up by the big forehand.
Graf wins the third game, leading 2-1 in the opening set.
Graf needs to.
Introducing new Gillette Aftershave Gel.
15.
Quickly, Jennifer Capriati. Two very hard servers today.
That cross-court forehand is working very successfully for Steffi. If she can hit the ball early enough and get enough angle on it, that's the time she gives Capriati problems.
That's the first poor backhand that Graf has hit. Bit of a wild swing on Capriati's forehand as she sort of stood up near the end of the follow-through. And every time you do that, the ball usually sails over the baseline or wide. 30 all.
She knows she has to keep up the pace, but in doing so, she's rushing herself on a few and going for just a little bit too much.
Break point. And a great serve to save a break point by Capriati.
Serving has been so good from both these players so far. They've hardly missed a first serve. Well, the return of serve came back faster than the serve that time, so Graf has really been in good form, concentrating very hard. Going to the towel here. Well, Capriati waiting. Can't wait to get this next serve in play. Break point number 2. See if Steffi moves around to take this on the forehand.
So the first service break of this match goes to
Graf leads 3-1.
the German from Brühl. Steffi Graf.
She spends a lot of time in Florida these days, finds it relaxing there, and has an apartment in New York now. Oh, it's a good serve.
Take a look at that again.
Well, maybe it skid off the line. We have a pretty good view, and it looked like a spectacular serve. And that is always the hardest line for the umpire to overrule on, strangely enough, the one right in front of them. It's too late, Jennifer. Yeah.
Well, after all that, it's ace number 2 for Graf and a 15-love lead in this game, with Graf leading the first set 3-1. And a great round of applause for Jennifer Capriati as she struck a winning two-handed backhand.
15 all.
She responds well, doesn't she, to getting a little annoyed. What an excellent shot. Straight as an arrow. That one missed.
Good call that time. 15 all.
A slight change of mind. Steffi's backhand.
15-30. A good choice of shot that time for Steffi Graf. Attempt on the drop shot. Not really struck very well, and an opportunity now for Jennifer Capriati with 2 break points to get herself back in this first set. 15-40. Virginia, that time Capriati caught in a position where she was face on the net, didn't turn sideways, and so shanked the return off the forehand. 1 break point saved by Graf.
Yesterday, when she played Arantxa Sanchez Vicario, she didn't convert a lot of the break points that she had. This time, I thought she played a really careful, sensible point. Came in on the right thing, missed by barely a couple of inches.
You know, we were saying yesterday if she was going to beat Sanchez Vicario, Capriati was going to have to come into the net, which she eventually did. But I think she needs to come in more today to make a match of it.
If she just plays from the baseline in these rallies, it doesn't threaten Steffi at all. Steffi is now just dwelling on her own game. If she starts coming into the net, then that poses a totally different question for Steffi, and it starts putting a different sort of pressure on her.
Steffi holds serve and leads by a break in the opening set.
Her Home Care Eganville and Barry's Bay Home Care, Barry's Bay.
Welcome back. Jennifer Capriati serving down a service break in the opening set, 4-1.
Love 15.
But Graf is simply on top of every ball, hitting her shots early, sort of jumping on them, playing with extreme confidence this afternoon.
Too good.
Love 13.
Well, she is just so athletic, Virginia, that she can almost get to every ball, Steffi Graf.
Jennifer did well to come in. She did everything right, but she was beaten by just a superior shot. And the anticipation was just right from Steffi.
Good first serve, gets her back in this game, 15-30. Graf has returned extremely well.
She'll take that one.
It took her a couple of serves at the beginning of the match to get the feel of Jennifer's serve, but since Graf has returned almost impeccably.
I've been very impressed by the consistency of Graf's backhand today.
Well done. I always feel that if her forehand is this good, that then the rest of her game falls into place. Steffi's game revolves around the quality of her forehand.
It's a good point, because as you say, when her forehand is a little bit off, her backhand suffers also.
Game over.
And another service break for Steffi Graf,
Leads 5-1.
a winner of 75 tournaments, 6 this year, including the French Open and Wimbledon. Looking to add the Matinee Limited International title, leading 5-1 now in the first set.
Neither player today took part in the '92 championships in Montreal. Both had to pull out before the event started with injuries.
First serve.
This is the best I have seen Steffi hit her
15-11.
forehand. I mean, literally for years. There was a time when your score sheet used to just be littered with forehand winners.
Had a little drop shot into her portfolio too.
30-11.
Well, when you see this particular shot, the drop shot, come out of her repertoire, you know that Steffi Graf is playing with great deal of confidence today. She can do no wrong. 30 love, 5-1.
30-15.
Good effort. Right here, the excellent return, but you know, she had to hit that backhand return so hard in order to get herself the opportunity to come up to the net.
She also had to make a pretty good one-handed backhand volley. Not easy for a two-handed player off that backhand side. Foot fault called on Steffi Graf. Probably her left toe touching the line.
She's on fire today so far.
Set point here for Graf. Hits that winner.
First set, all Steffi Graf. 6-1.
Second set, Capriati to serve.
Second set now. Jennifer Capriati serving, losing the first set 6-1.
And losing it in 30 minutes.
Oh, there are winners of that forehand all over the court. 11 now. 11 in 7 games. Well, this is the 8th.
Jennifer's got to stop serving to Steffi's forehand. She's going to definitely direct the ball into that backhand corner.
See her. It seems that in her own mind, in Jennifer's mind, that her only solution is to hit harder than Steffi right now. And as soon as you start doing that, you're going to make mistakes. She's got to find a different tactic.
Not sure what that tactic is today. She seems frustrated. But remember, she's only 17.
15.
Graf can't believe she made an error on that return. A true perfectionist. 15-30. Absolute must game for Capriati. Let's see where this second serve goes.
This is really the only place that Jennifer's having any joy at all, is hitting her backhand straight down the line. And that sometimes causes Steffi problems because she's all the way over in the left court. She's got a lot of court to cover to get there.
It looks as if she's continuing to go to Graf's forehand, especially in the deuce court, and that's very dangerous. You're asking for trouble.
There's a little momentum.
Approach shot wasn't bad, but it bounced up a little high, And she didn't really know where to expect the next ball. Not totally at home at the net. Capriati's most effective serve in the past has been this one out wide to Steffi's forehand, but today Steffi's ready for it.
That was an absolutely incredible hooked forehand by Graf. I still say Capriati has got to stay away from that forehand, especially on the serves.
Yeah, wrong-footed there. She just absolutely couldn't get back with such a good shot.
Deuce.
Ace.
I don't know how fast that was, but she generated a lot on this one. Just that flat serve, that must have been way over 100, close to 110 miles an hour.
That was the second ace for Jennifer Capriati.
Capriati strikes first in the second set.
Hot.
First point, second game, second set. Steffi Graf winning the first set 6-1. Down 1-love in the second set, looking to hold serve.
I think holding serve and winning that first game for Capriati was a big confidence booster. Triple break point situation here for Jennifer Capriati.
She saved one, but getting herself to love 40 is quite a tall order to come back. It's not even as if she lost concentration or let up at all. I think it just happened that Jennifer strung a few points together here.
Big key in that first set was in the fifth game when Graf held serve from 15-40.
Oh, good shot.
Two-fister down the line. Jennifer Capriati's first service break of the matchup, 2-0. Capriati, in her 9 matches with Graf, has only won once, and in matches on hard court, she has lost twice to Steffi, both in straight sets.
And hard courts is Jennifer Capriati's best surface, and she has just signaled to her opponent that new balls are in play.
Love 15.
A look at the first set. First service percentage. 12 winners to 4 for Steffi Graf.
But there were a lot of forcing shots which created errors. She was pretty dominant. Almost too dominant in a way. Sometimes when you're expecting such a close match as this, if somebody gets so far ahead, things could change. The unforced error is about the same. The first serve definitely leaning in Graf's favor. They've both been serving very well. This is the last game with the old balls. They've got to be a little bit slower. Good shot.
15-13.
Yeah, the second serve didn't have enough on it.
15-30. Well, Capriati paid the price for going to the wrong side. Graf was right there. Take a look at this in the replay.
15-14.
Perfect lob by Graf overhead, and Capriati tries to do too much with the return.
Oh, that was a big point.
Jennifer missed hitting the ball in the open court when she was at the net.
15-40. Double break point.
I was wrong about the balls. Actually, it's the 10th game, so they just changed them.
That's right.
She has the new balls, and they. And they fly a little bit.
2 break points saved by 17-year-old Jennifer Capriati. Capriati winning 1 of 5 break points. Graf capitalizing on 2 out of 5.
Actually, that second serve was almost too short for Steffi.
Virginia, that return in the first set, Graf didn't miss. Now she's beginning to miss the odd ball on her forehand. Advantage to Capriati.
Struggling somewhat with the sun. It's right in the most difficult spot right now.
Yes, sir, I'm surprised. That ball looked to be good from here. Good correction, overrule there made by umpire Jane Tabor of Somerset, England. Oh.
Steffi just looked at her people in her box down there, Heinz Gunther and that, to see what they thought, and they gave her a signal. I didn't see, but it makes you feel better if you think somebody else, even if it's a bad call, it makes you feel better if you can trust your own judgment.
Jennifer Capriati does what she has to do. She holds serve to lead 3-love in the second set.
Presenting some...
Welcome back. Steffi Graf moving so quickly during commercial break, right up to the service line. And
just look at this. The serve was so good. This ball, she's got the whole court. Which way does she go? The wrong way.
Looked like a cricket shot that Capriati made to get that ball back in court.
It's Jennifer who's picked up the pace, and Steffi's a beat behind now. You know, it would have been very hard to keep up that sort of incredible tennis that she played in the first set.
Graf beginning to make some unforced errors off that backhand. Perhaps she needs to slow herself down. Plays extremely fast.
triple break point.
an incredible turnaround in the second set. I mean, Graf could not have played a better set than she did in that first set.
Almost too good. Doesn't give you a fair estimate of what the challenge really is if you're playing out of your mind. What a bad game.
Has the tide ever turned here in this second set? Jennifer Capriati up 2 service breaks to none. 4 games love after being flattened in the first set, 6 games to 1.
When Jennifer beat Steffi in the final of the Olympics last year, she lost the first set. Heidi Graf. Watching.
15.
Yeah, I mean, I think when Steffi's going through a bad patch like this, having been on top of the world, I think she just has to settle down and eliminate her errors, first of all. Just keep the ball in. You've got to stop that flow.
Well, she's definitely rushing all her shots now. Not the composure that she had in the opening set.
15.
A little bit of help there from Capriati, who serves her first double fault. Graf has not served a double fault, and both players have each had 2 aces. Same thing happened again on the short ball. Player went right back to the defender.
You know you're in trouble, so you just have to pick a side. And you got a, what, a 50-50 chance? Yeah.
Jennifer Capriati has turned the power on this set. Unbelievable.
15.
Not often that you see Capriati in the position like you would Arantxa Sanchez Vicario of having to retrieve a ball, but you did just that then. And perfect lob.
That's an ace.
Jennifer Capriati could serve up the set.
Central.
Kevin Mill.
Steffi Graf with the ball, but down 5 games to none, 2 service breaks in the second set, having won the first 6-1. 2 completely different sets here this afternoon.
Well, I think Steffi's pulling herself together a little bit. It would be fun if they both played well at the same time. And she sort of blinked in those last 5 games. The first set took less than 30 minutes. So far, 5 games disappeared in about 20 minutes.
Nice one-handed backhand retrieve early in that point by Capriati. Shows that she's really into this match and fighting for every point.
And even though it's 5-love, it's important for Steffi to get herself back in the match. Good shot.
Short second serve by Graf, and she paid for it.
Jennifer's so good at returning off both first and second serves, but if it sits up a bit like that, she knocked it.
30.
Well, you're right, Virginia. Graf needs to win at least a game in this set to get some sign of sort of confidence here.
And also so she could start off serving.
Right, in the final set.
Oh, that was out. Bad shot.
Break point, set point.
She loses this game, then she hasn't broken the momentum.
Thank you.
And Jennifer gets to serve first.
Long again. Capriati breaks Steffi's serve and shuts her out in the second set. The ebb and flow of tennis.
1 set all.
Two players playing completely different tennis in each
Final
set.
Capriati to serve.
Okay, Virginia and Rod, any predictions for the final set?
I'm favoring Jennifer slightly at this moment. But it's a very bizarre score, that.
Unusual, I would call it. Remember, Jennifer Capriati won her title here back in '91 over Katerina Mileva in straight sets, and Graf won her matinee limited international title in Montreal over the same Katerina Mileva in 3 sets. Beautifully struck forehand winner by Steffi Graf.
She seems to be really concentrating on hitting the ball harder again, and that's what's marked her game this week, is that she has been going for more, and that actually improves her shot making. Like that.
I wonder, Virginia and Dawn, if maybe the first set was too easy for her
yes,
today.
I think so. I think it's very difficult when you're expecting a very tight match to either win or lose the first set in that sort of quick time.
I also think it's got to be very difficult now for Capriati to keep going after winning a set at 6-love.
Well, what happened to Steffi after the first set is bound to be happening to Jennifer after this set. What really happens is you think to yourself, how long am I going to keep playing as well as this? And when is my opponent going to start playing properly? You know that it's very unbalanced.
Steffi Graf opens by breaking Jennifer Capriati's serve in the third and final set. The mirror image of the first set, except on Jennifer Capriati's side. 10 winners to 3. Unforced errors hurt Steffi Graf, but she leads by a service break in this third set in Toronto.
Steffi was late on the backhand, but still managed to hit a skidding ball off it. She's taking a little bit more time too, and pulled her concentration together.
15-love.
Second serve.
The last time a love set was registered between these two in their 9 meetings came way back in '92 in Philadelphia on carpet indoors when Graf defeated Capriati 6-love and 6-1.
Both players had their streaks broken today too. They had not lost a set this week before this match. Best point of the match. Couple of line huggers.
And a lot of commotion going on when all those balls were close to the line. This was a bad choice of shot here. She could be passed anyway. And I detected a little bit of tension coming into Steffi in the way she hit some of her forehands in that particular point.
Capriati doing some retrieving like Arantxa Sanchez Vicario.
Oh, it's a good serve.
Big serve at a very important time as Graf hits her third ace. 40-30. Graf trying to impose a 2-love lead here in this final and deciding set.
First set. Game ball.
Steffi Graf up 2 games love in this third and deciding set, up a service break in the final set.
Well, I'm sure she was relieved to get such a good first serve in, because Jennifer's return of the second serve is stunning.
Absolutely incredible point by both these former champions of this event.
Steffi had Jennifer pinned in each corner of the court so many times. In fact, I wondered if she might not have done better to just throw it back in the same place, because Jennifer succeeded in reaching all those ones she had to run for. I mean, she must have used up an awful lot of steam, though.
Neither of these players ever temper their shots.
These long points are psychologically important to win.
Second service ace. A little bit lucky, but it worked. The fourth for Capriati. Well, that's got to be a great feeling, Virginia, when you're a little bit out of breath after working so hard the point before you throw in a second serve ace. 30 love.
Another good serve.
There may not be a shutout in this set.
No way.
Neither player has ever quit on 1 point in this match, no matter what the score. 40 love, love 40, deuce. High quality tennis.
First set. Game Capriati.
Jennifer Capriati battles back. Hang on, it's a great one at center court. Steffi Graf leading 2 games to 1 up a service break. We are not going to see a love set here. In fact, it could be a marathon.
30 love.
Oh, she called that out.
Thirty love.
They hit so close to the lines, they're not easy to call.
Yes, there have been very few short ground strokes hit in this match. Everything has been deep and in the corners.
40 love.
Oh, that return of the second serve is so important for Jennifer to make. She really can scare the server with it, and to give her a free shot is just not the right play. There've been so many good points that you have a couple of bad points like this and you're shocked.
I think if we had an award for a point of the match, Virginia, we'd have to select about 10 of them. Tennis has been just so very good.
Game ball.
Steffi Graf now leads 3-1 in the final set, holding her serve.
Leads 3 games to 1.
Imperative now that Jennifer Capriati does the same.
She worked so hard in that previous game to Jennifer that although she's supremely fit, I think it does take a little bit out of you.
Love 15.
And it probably takes more out of you in a mental way. As you get tired in the heat out there, you don't think as well. And Jennifer's actually racing a bit now. She's right ready to serve a second serve in no time. That's too good.
Capriati really stepping into that winner, one of the few short balls that she's had in this final and deciding set. Take a look at that again. She moves inside the baseline and just clubs the forehand winner. 15 all. This is a game that Capriati cannot afford to lose.
30-15.
That helps.
I was just thinking that she was going to serve an ace there. She just seemed ready for it. You know, on a bright day like this, you sometimes lose sight of the ball in the stadium. It's very bright from the spectators.
First serve.
And she's serving on the more difficult side with the sun looking into the sun.
40-15.
Good serve again. But it's also a little bit, because the sun's shining on Jennifer, this end of the stadium is a little bit brighter, so Steffi's looking at a bright background.
40-30.
Neither of these players ever temper their ground strokes. They just go for broke each time.
Don, you see why Jennifer does tend to serve that one down the middle, because this one she served a good second serve deep, and Steffi just climbed around it and hit the big forehand inside out. So I think it works better for her slicing the second serve out to the forehand. That is, if Steffi doesn't anticipate it. Yeah, just
Advantage Graf.
3 forehand errors in a row.
This was a game that Capriati had completely under control, and now she's facing a break point and a possible 1-4 deficit in the final set.
First serve.
I guess we forget she's only 17.
He's out.
Game Graf.
Steffi Graf on the edge of perhaps her second matinee limited.
Central.
Steffi Graf, chance to go up 5 games to 1 in the final set.
All of a sudden, Capriati making unforced errors. The previous game, up 40-15, missing by a couple of inches on 3 different shots. Graf's backhand, Virginia, stayed just so low that time that Capriati just couldn't pick it up out of the court.
Well, she's keeping her racket on the ball a little bit longer, being a little bit more deliberate with her shots here, rather than just going for those big flashy big ones. And really, you know, that's so much a key to tennis, is if you're feeling great, then you just go for broke, but you have to know how to navigate the hazards out there.
Wicked backhand.
Well, 2 good saves off the backhand by Graf, but the third one just couldn't come closer to see her save those 2. Good defensive play. Not that time. Ball was just hit too well. 30 all. A wide open court for Jennifer Capriati as she scampered around to take that ball in the forehand. Seemed to be a little tense, Virginia, when she hit it.
Yeah, and I think, you know, Steffi's also, for the first time, she looks just slightly less speedy when she's running, and that's possibly a sign of just getting a little tight.
Game Graf.
And so Steffi Graf is so close. She can smell it. Up 5 games to 1 in the 3rd set. 1 game away from her second matinee limited international championship.
Very strange set scores in this final.
Very strange final.
Jennifer's still got a little left in her, though. I don't know whether it's enough to come back.
It's a long way back from 5-1 against the #1 player in the world.
It would be very hard to pick exactly what happened in this match, apart from the players reversing the one who was just playing out of their mind.
Topspin backhand by Graf. We have seen a few more in this final. She seems to be hitting it with a great deal of confidence. Gets right up and over that ball.
Oh, it's a good shot.
And that's not bad either, is right.
Her return of serve has been awfully good today. Sometimes you don't classify Steffi's return of serve quite as high as, say, Monica Seles or even Jennifer, but today it is tough. That was a good shot.
Well, championship point for Steffi Graf.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you.
Hanging in.
Jennifer's going to be very disappointed if she loses this match because she was so psyched for it.
Well, she saved one match point.
Advantage Capriati.
Now with an opportunity to hold serve. Cut the deficit slightly here in the final and deciding set.
There's no reason why she couldn't have another brilliant spell like she had in the second set.
Steffi Graf up 5-2, a chance now to close out the match.
Graf leads 5-2.
It's just one great.
Steffi Graf with a chance now to wrap up her 7th tournament championship of 1993. Already a winner at the French Open and Wimbledon, and perhaps a 2-time winner of this event. Jennifer Capriati trails 5-2 in this final set, a topsy-turvy match to say the least.
Graf will be trying to close out the match, serving with new balls.
That's a good first serve.
15-love.
Graf way ahead on the Craft Tour points. Leader. And from Steffi's point of view, I'm sure she would like to play a good game here to end the match, because it must be fairly scary to just go into oblivion for a set when you've been playing as well as she was at the beginning. It must do something for your confidence.
Graf winning the first set, 6-1. Capriati the second, 6-love. And here we are at 5-2, 30-love for Graf in the final set.
Still important to get first serves in. Jennifer deals with the second serve very easily, or comparatively easily.
Graf did not like the call. Very close to that sideline.
What would have been match point is now 30-30. Very close.
just wide. Graf has had a great deal of success in serving wide to Capriati's forehand in the deuce court.
Oh, no.
That's a terrible call.
Replay points.
Oh, isn't it the same old story when it gets close in the match? You tend to get a few dodgy calls.
That ball was almost called before it landed.
She had a good return here, and Steffi was right there to hit it.
Capriati hangs tough.
13-14.
Graf was up 30-love in this game, only 2 points away from her second Matinee Limited International title.
She's got 2 service breaks, but I can tell you this is the best one to try and win.
Service break, Capriati. We're not done yet. Steffi Graf leads 5-3 in the third set.
Graf leads 5-3.
This match is getting very tense.
Thank you.
Capriati saved a match point on her own serve in the previous game.
And a very jumpy crowd, too. Good shot. And by jumpy, I mean they're all sitting on the edges of their seats because they're enjoying this match and they don't know what's going on either.
Once again, Steffi Graf, only 2 points from victory.
Both players hanging in here with good shots, but both just being a bit careful. She knew she had the opening, went for a tiny bit too much. Love 30.
Continues to dictate the play in this game.
Pinpoint.
Love 40, triple match point situation. Capriati with her back to the wall. Graf poised to take her second Canadian Open title.
15.
Sixth ace of the match. Jennifer Capriati, the slugger.
Gutsy way to save a match point. Right down the center. Going right into the forehand. 15-40.
Is over. The world's #1 player today is the best on center court in Canada. 6-1, love 6, 6-3 for Steffi Graf. Now a 2-time Matinee Limited International champion.
There was some fantastic tennis in there. It was just a very odd scoreline. You know, it's always scary for somebody to play as well as Steffi did in that first set. But then what on earth happened in the second set?
Well, I don't know what happened, but boy, it was a tremendous performance of hard-hitting tennis by both players, neither one of them giving any quarter in the match. And even Capriati coming up being down 1-5, still thinking she had a chance to win the match. Here's match point again.
She got just maybe a little bit tired at the end.
She was doing an awful lot of running. Graf was dictating the play throughout most of this match, and it certainly did pay off.
Steffi Graf just ran back to the locker room, but she will be back on center court for the trophy presentation, the Czech presentation. Steffi Graf, the queen, on center court at York University today. The Matinee Limited International Championship of 1993 belongs to Steffi Graf. Now let's go to center court for the official ceremony.
Hello again, everybody. What a great match it was. It's our opportunity now to honor these great athletes during our official presentation ceremonies for the 1993 Matinee Limited International. First, let me introduce a few people who are key to the organization and presentation of our championships. From the Women's Tennis Association, a great friend of our tournament, Brenda Perry. As usual, Brenda is busily off somewhere doing some work for tennis. Our chairperson of Tennis Canada's Board of Directors, Mr. Jim Fleck. The President of Tennis Canada, Bob Moffat. Our always busy tournament manager, Jane Wynn. The Executive Vice President of Tennis Canada and our tournament director, John Beddington. And now it's my pleasure to call on the honorary chairman of our tournament, representing Matinee Limited, Mr. Paul Perret.
Thank you, Don. And good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Bon après-midi, mesdames et messieurs. We have been fortunate, I think, to see a tremendous championship match this afternoon, and I would like to ask you to join me in saluting both our finalists. Before we honor our champion and runner-up, I would like to take a moment on behalf of Matinee Limited to thank the people who have made this year's tournament such a success. I see what you mean. Our thanks to Chairman-person John Beddington and Tournament Manager Jane Wynn for organizing another great tournament. We would like also to express our sincere thanks and appreciation to Tennis Canada and to their Chief Executive, Bob Moffat, for their support throughout the year. Our thanks also go to the many volunteers who have contributed so much of their time toward the success of this championship. And yes, ball boys and ball girls, and the several hundred of them. I'd like also to extend a special word of thanks to the WTA, the Craft Tour, whose players have given us such a tremendous week of competition. But frankly, most of all, I would like to thank you, the tennis fans for being here and for making this kind of an event possible. And now for our presentations. First, I would like to call the runner-up from New York, Miss Jennifer Capriati.
Thank you very much. Well, first of all, what did you say? I love you? What do you look like? Let me see you. How old are you? No. Well, first of all, I have to congratulate Steffi for playing a great match. She was just excellent today. Also, I have to thank a few other people for putting on this great event. Of course, Matinee and Tennis Canada and Kraft General Foods for sponsoring the women's tour. John, thanks for making this a great tournament. And this is my second time here, and both times I had a great time, and I really love it here. And you know, I want to thank you guys for coming out and supporting and making it a great week for me. And I hope I can come back. Thanks.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the 1993 Matinee Limited International, our champion, Steffi Graf from Germany.
That felt great. Oh, I'm taken. It's the third time I've been in Canada, and I haven't lost. So I like the country very, very much. Again, I had a great time here, but somebody made it really hard for me today, and it was Jennifer. She also, like me, played a great match. I thought she would never get tired, but she did. Yeah. Well, I also want to thank the sponsors, Kraft, then Matinee Limited, and John Beddington for putting up such a great tournament. I think we all enjoyed it a lot. And I had a lot of fans here during the past week, so I want to thank you for all the support. Thank you. And a very special thanks to the people who have been with me for a long time. That's my mother, then my coach Heinz. Hasn't been too long, but it's very successful. Thank you very much. And Renee for being there. Thank you very much. See you.
Steffi Graf, Jennifer Capriati, two of the most well-liked people, well-liked athletes in the sports world. We'll be back with more from center court at the National Tennis Center.
Central.
And we are back at center court, National Tennis Center, York University campus, where Steffi Graf has just defeated Jennifer Capriati in 3 sets to win her second Matinee Limited International Championship. Let's go down to Virginia Wade now with a hard-working runner-up.
Well, a hard-working Jennifer, and Jennifer's so good-natured about your loss. That's good.
Well, I mean, I played good tennis all week, and you know, I gave it my best, and I can't be disappointed because of that. So.
we were so impressed, not only with the way you were hitting the ball, but the way you were moving around the court.
Yeah, but I still wasn't good enough. I feel better, and you know, I do feel like I'm moving better out there, and it's nothing changed. You know, I've always been working on that more, you know, the last year or so, the last couple months, but you know, I feel good out there.
Well, you certainly look good. You hit your forehand. Your forehand went off just a tiny bit at the end. Was there any reason why you weren't a little tired?
Well, you know, I think I was, you know, a little tired. You know, I was hitting a lot better than I was in the first set. I was completely off in the first set. I mean, I was just like not even hitting the middle of my strings. And then it just, you know, by like that much it was if, you know, hit the top of the tape. But, you know, what can you do? Oh, well.
Jennifer, great match. Well played. Good luck in the Open. I mean, you're really almost there, aren't you?
I don't know. Yeah, I hope so. Thanks.
Okay, thanks so much for talking to us, and we'll be right back.
Welcome back to the 93 Matinee Limited International. Rod Black, Don Fontana, and down on center court, Virginia Wade with the 93 champion, Steffi Graf.
Steffi, well done, but I know you know what question I'm going to ask you. What happened in the second set?
It's very difficult to tell. I played such a perfect first set. I didn't make mistakes, and I don't want to say I was surprised, but I was really happy. And so I had a chance right in the first game to break her and didn't make it, and lost my service game to love. And from then on, I just made a lot of unfast errors, couldn't give really the ball in play. And it was really, I mean, I was surprised how well I turned it around in the beginning of the third set, because I was so way off in the second set that I thought it's going to be real difficult to come back.
It was very strange, and I know we couldn't detect any real reason for it. Did you panic at all?
Not really, but once I started making a few mistakes, I was trying to keep the ball in play, and then I didn't step in, and then made more and more mistakes, and I just didn't follow through. I didn't play aggressive enough anymore.
Well, you've now won, what, 157 tournaments? And I know you say that one tournament isn't more important than the other, but I guess you've got a big one coming up.
That's true. I mean, I had played the last 3 Grand Slam tournaments this year very well, won 2, been 1 in the finals, so hopefully I will do well in New York. I mean, having played 2 tournaments before the US Open and both winning them, I think that gives me a lot of confidence.
It seems to me that you actually enjoy the crowd more than you used to, so in New York you need that, don't you?
Yes, I mean, in a way you definitely will need it. I mean, but if you play well, I think things are going to fall together anyway.
Well done anyway. Once again, it's a pleasure watching you when you play so well.